Hey folks, Pat here from DNS. This Madison area fishing report is current as of December 2nd. Well, we're back after 2 weeks being gone, and it's good to be back behind the counter. Didn't have a lot of luck myself deer hunting, but it's nice to get out in the woods and spend some time away, and did some fishing too. Yeah, I guess I'll touch on that a little bit later. Just a couple things to touch on before we get started. I wanted to promote this. These folks from Wiggle Your Worm Fishing are putting on this free ice fishing class for kids grades 6 through 8. No cost for the class. I'm not sure where they're at with numbers as far as filling the classes, but if you wanted to send them an email at wywfishing@aol.com, and that would be to Ray or Michelle over there. You can contact them if you got somebody in 6th through 8th grades that you think might be into learning about ice fishing. It sounds like a great opportunity to get some kids into that. And then I also wanted to let everybody know that tomorrow, Southern Wisconsin Trout Unlimited, full disclosure, I sit on the board for that group, is a great group, and they're having a work day tomorrow out at Smith Conley Creek near Barneveld. Apparently they got a bunch of work they're trying to get done. It's the last work day of the year for them. It's a great opportunity to go out and meet some folks that are interested in trout fishing and conservation, and also a great chance to explore a stream that you probably aren't too familiar with. Smith Conley is kind of a hidden gem in the Madison area, and there's a lot of fishing easements for public access, 7 miles of fishing access on that creek alone. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to go out and help a resource and meet some folks. Other than that, I guess as far as shop news goes, we had our first seminar last night of the fall or early winter, whatever you want to call it, season. We had Brian Zubke in here, had a great turnout. About 40 folks showed up for that. Gave away ice rod that Brian had donated, and we had a hat and a shop gift certificate. But the biggest prize was for all the people that attended. Really got some great information from Brian. I'm working through some technical issues right now on uploading that video. So I guess stay tuned for that, where we're going to see how that all shakes out, but had a bit of a problem recording that. So we'll just see how it goes. Gonna be some bumps along the road with stuff like that. So and yeah, otherwise around the shop here, we got all our ice fishing stuff out and ready for some ice. So let's go on to the report. Weather this week was kind of a roller coaster. We had some ice early, before Thanksgiving, and then it got warmer on Thanksgiving, and a lot of that ice in the area melted. But this next week, it's warm today. It's supposed to be like 51. Tomorrow, it's supposed to be high at 26, and then it looks like nice cold weather the next week and beyond. So should start making some good ice around town. Yeah, fingers crossed for that. The Mendota buoy, oh yeah, I should let everybody know the Mendota buoy right now is out for the season, so they pulled that out. You can see here no temps being registered because the buoy is out of the water. They pull that out before everything freezes. So no water temps there other than what I've heard, and that is that lake temps around the chain are in the low 40s from what I hear. Generally around the chain, fish are still hungry, and muskie anglers are getting out. And actually, I shouldn't just say muskie anglers, because walleye folks are doing well, and muskie folks are also doing well, and pike are out there and hungry. I should note that the piers at Warner have been pulled. I heard they were pulled at Marshall Park. I heard somebody say that they were still in at Olin. And then the county pulled their piers a long time ago, but down on Wabisa, the Babcock Park piers stay in for quite a while. So there's still opportunities to launch a boat, and you can still use the launches, they just don't have the piers in. But fishing around the chain's been great. Walleye are still smacking lures up shallow. Muskie are hungry, pike are hungry. Panfish are starting to move in shallow into the bays, so a lot of good opportunities around there. But we'll get into some details here. Cherokee was very active this last week or so. Like I said, we had some ice come in, and Cherokee, usually one of the first spots to freeze over, had ice the weekend before Thanksgiving. I actually was out there last Monday and Tuesday. We had 2.5, maybe 3 inches of ice, and we did well on bluegills. But then we got that warm weather for Thanksgiving and the weekend there, and by Saturday the ice was really in bad shape. You probably saw in the news a couple guys went through there, and then I even heard somebody went through on Tuesday, and I can't even imagine that somebody was able to even get on the ice on Tuesday. But that ice as of Wednesday was kind of a big chunk floating in the middle or kind of pushed up along shore here, and then open water on the south side of the bay all the way out to the channel, and then up in front of the island was all open water as of Wednesday night. That locked up on Thursday or Wednesday night. Locked up and was locked up on yesterday. A couple guys were out, but they said the new ice is way too sketchy yet to fish on, and the white ice that was out there is fishable, but it's very sketchy. So I'm not recommending people get out there. Give it a little time. We're supposed to get some cold temps in tonight and tomorrow, and like I said, temps from here on out look like we're going to be making some good ice here into next week. So just give that a rest, and please be safe if you try to get out. The 113 bridge here, I've heard about some good crappie, walleyes coming out of there. But the catfish bite, I haven't heard much in the way of catfish, but still some walleyes being caught in there as long as the water's open. That's accessible. Fishing around Mendota as far as panfish go, I haven't heard much in the way of panfish, but the walleye bite continues to be good around shore, Picnic Point, University Shoreline. The Tenney Park breakwall's still been hot. Heard about a few fish coming out of Warner, Governor's Island area. So if you can get a boat out there, that's great. Otherwise, those shore spots I mentioned are still producing a lot of fish. Down on Lake Monona, the muskie bite's been fantastic. Heard about some big fish coming off there. Including this beautiful fish here caught by Nathan Jandal. This is a 52.5-inch muskie, one of the spotted ones. Beautiful fish you can see here that, kind of a fish of a lifetime, 52.5 inches, because he caught this fish on a fly. And rumor has it that this is the largest muskie caught on the Madison chain on a fly. So congratulations to Nathan there. And this was last week, and Saturday maybe, but it's a beautiful fish, and it just goes to show that those fish are still out there snapping. So congrats Nathan on a beautiful fish. Anyway, as far as fishing around Monona goes, otherwise they're getting some panfish, crappies and bluegills off the wall still a little bit. Been hearing about some good walleye action along John Nolan, down to Olin Park, up along the whole city shoreline. Been hearing about walleyes from shore, have been good. Panfish moving into Monona Bay and the triangles. Folks have been fishing those from shore, casting to them and getting them starting to move in there as we get closer to winter here, ice up. Lake Wingara, haven't heard much out of there other than some good muskie action. Smaller fish in there, but some good action nonetheless. Haven't heard much else out of Monona. Heard about some fish coming out of the dredge hole up here on Upper Mud. And then Wabisa, I haven't heard a ton coming out of there. A lot of folks aren't getting out, and plus we've been closed for 2 weeks, but you can still launch at Babcock, and there's good walleye action usually along the shoreline down here, and over near Christie's and Goodland, out from Goodland. Probably some panfish moving into the South Bay here. But the muskie bite down there has also been fantastic, so some good opportunities there. Haven't heard a lot out of Kegonsa. It's been quiet, hit or miss. It's either been hot or cold, it seems like, for people that get down there. But I haven't heard much out of there lately. Walleyes, though, are a pretty safe bet out from the state park. Where the Yahara dumps in up here is also a good place to look for them. Down South of here on the Rock River, Lake Koshkonong, I haven't heard a ton coming out of there. A little bit of walleye action if you can launch a boat. They had, of course, the same cold weather we did, so not a lot of folks getting out in boats. I did hear that they were getting some fish in some of the small bays when they had ice come through. They had some decent ice for a while, but that ice also melted. But like I said, just like here, won't be long before we start getting ice in there. Heard about some good walleye action in the Fort Atkinson and Jefferson areas. Um, Other than that, not a lot coming out of the Koshkonong and Rock River area. Up on the Wisconsin River, Prairie du Sac Dam continues to produce some walleye and sauger. I've been hearing coming out of there. Good muskie action from the dam down to the Highway 12 bridge. And yeah, I haven't heard much downstream as far as that action goes, but upstream into Lake Wisconsin, been hearing about some panfish moving into the fingers areas over here, and they also got some ice over in over by the grade, and heard about some folks getting out, but that ice also is going to be sketchy. But if you can launch a boat, I'm sure they're still getting walleyes out here. They were doing good out there in the fall. Up here to Portage, haven't heard a lot out of Portage. The Wisconsin Dells area, though, I have been hearing about some fish, I believe, upstream of the dam. Some of that slower water, deeper water, finding walleyes on breaks, and that water's basically open still. So good opportunities up there if you want to launch a boat still. Castle Rock Lake, heard about some fish in some of the shallow backwater areas when we had ice. But nothing recently. I have heard about some walleyes being caught out on Pettenwell. I'm sure they're getting fish below the dams at both Pettenwell and Castle Rock. As always, those are great spots for fish to congregate this time of year. Same thing on Pettenwell. I heard about some ice the other week, but it's also comes and goes this time of year. With Mississippi River, haven't heard about a ton coming out of here. Some walleyes near the dams. And if you can launch a boat, you can find some fish because it's a great time to catch walleyes over there. The Milwaukee area, all the tribs up and down Lake Michigan still have a few cohos in, some brown trout are in there, and the steelhead have moved up. So those steelhead should stay up. A lot of them stay up all winter. So as long as the ice isn't causing problems, like the shelf ice along shore, and you find some good current, you can still find some steelhead to be caught up there. So up and down the river, there's some good opportunities, or up and down Lake Michigan, there's some good opportunities on the tribs. Other than that, I guess as far as trout fishing goes, of course the season's closed. I think it's 35 days until the season opens again. Not that I'm counting down or anything, but of course, you can't fish around here. If you want up to Devil's Lake, you can get where's Devil's Lake? Right there. As long I haven't heard if there's ice yet or not, but the shorelines should find some brown trout cruising around up there. Otherwise, there's always Iowa. It's just an hour and a half away. From the west side of Madison, and some great streams on the Iowa side up and down there, and they have trout fishing open all year. So if you want to scratch that itch, give it a shot. Anyway, I guess that's it for the report. If you want any more details on any of the stuff we talked about here, feel free to call the shop. Otherwise, post your comments and fish below. And fingers crossed for some good ice. I'm pretty optimistic that we'll be talking about more ice next week. So till then, everybody take care, be safe if you do get out on the ice, and we'll talk next week. Thanks.